So, by the way, I always trick you into a lesson. AC corrections is kind of like another way of doing another lesson, right? Without going through the book. So here we have salaries, right? Or the mean income of families is 45,000, standard deviation of 15,000, graph a normal curve, right? So if you, I prefer a ruler to be honest, okay? If you can, and then I use the inches, so mean, and then 3 to the right, 3 to the left. Not much to it. You go to the mean, you go a little higher up here. Okay, that's like the center of the bell curve, and then you flatten out to the side. So I look for the shape a little bit, but I look for the percentages and the values. Okay, that's going to be important to me here. So I give you 1 mark for the percentages. So it's going to be a 1 mark for percentages. Okay, so I need to see 34, 13.5, 2.35, and under this little flap here, it's 0.15. Okay, and then just copy this. I have to tell you that I'm lying to you a little bit. Not trying to be mean here, but these percentages are approximations. We will be able to, with a calculator, find out exactly what it is. Okay, so 34 is an estimate, but it's close enough for what we're doing here. So 1 mark for percentages, 1 mark for the x values. So basically the values along the x so that you get that right. So this is 45,000. You label it, right? So that you would say income on along the x-axis, income in dollars. That's always a must, right? Label, and then you just go up by 15,000, right? So I would want to see that progression. Okay. Subtract 15,000 every time you get to the left. So that's 0 right there. And so here we go. Is it possible to have an income less than 0? Maybe if you spend more than what you make, I don't know. But there's very little data expected in there anyway, so that we don't really worry about it too much. So 1 percentage, 1 for x values, and 1 for z-scores. Okay? So z-scores, every value that you've labeled has a corresponding z-score. Okay, just make sure you write down z-score along the bottom. Okay, and so we've only identified these particular values, but really we could figure out any value in between later on. Okay, so 3 marks for the graph. Let's be honest, right? And we're going to use the graph to answer a bunch of questions. What percentage? It's asking for percentage. Will have an income of 60,000 or more. So 60,000 is here. More indicates we need to add up everything to the right. So that'd be 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. That is 16%. Okay, 16% of households are expected to make more. What percentage of households make an income between 30 and 90,000? So 30,000 is right here. 90,000 is right there. So you just simply add all of the percentages in between those two values, right? So that would be, I can go 68 already, right? 34, 34, 13.5, and 2.35, right? I add up all of these, the 4 bars, and you get 83.85%. Okay, there you go. Winnipeg consists of 200,000 households. How many households earn less than 30,000? Figure out this part first. Less than 30,000 is these 3 here. That is 16%. Okay, 0.15, 2.35, 13.5. That amounts to 16% of households make less than 30,000. So if you have that, you get a mark for the 16%. But you need to take it a step further. You need to take your percentage and now multiply it by the actual number of households. So that could be right? This could be actually like if you produce a certain amount of items, you can do the same approach, you can take the same approach, and that happens to be exactly 32,000 households. In this case, you would want to round to a whole number if it hadn't been exactly 32,000, okay? So 2 marks if you have 32,000 on there. I do expect you to show the work, okay? Calculate the z-score for an income of 20,000, okay? So that's when you use this formula, the z-score. So x is the 20,000, the average is 45,000, and you divide that by the standard deviation. Okay. This gives you negative 25,000 divided by 15,000, my bad, and you get negative 1.67. Hey, it's getting better. Negative 1.67, so it's important to have the negative there for you to get that right. No units, okay? Z-scores will not have units attached to it. But, okay, we can see, like, does this make sense? 20,000 is below your average, right? So we do expect a negative answer. So kind of think of it that way. What's the income, the actual income, if you have a z-score of 2.24? That's when you use this formula. Z times standard deviation plus the average. Okay, so 2.24 times 15,000 plus 45,000. If you do that all in one shot, you get 78,600. Remember, X is like the actual X value, so that should be that should have a dollar sign in our case here. Could be milliliters, grams, whatever, right? But it's not in our case. So 1 mark for that as well. So this page is worth 9 marks. Let me just check. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So apparently there's an 8-9 going on now with the Grinch or something. Some students were telling me yesterday. Am I off or what? Anyways, Toronto has a mean of 60,000, income of 60,000 with a standard deviation of 25,000. Sketch both curves on the same axis. I'm going to help you out with this one. I know it's maybe a little new for you. What I will do is I'll go like this: Winnipeg, Toronto. I'll just tell you, figure out their average and their standard deviation first. Like put them side by side. For Winnipeg is 45,000, 15,000. For Toronto is 60,000, 25,000. So the mean tells you which one is going to be more to the left and which one is going to be more to the right. That's what it tells you. So because 60,000 is greater, this one is to the right. This one will move to the right, and this one will be to the left because of that, because of the mean. Okay? So the mean tells you basically where along the x-axis are they going to be located. This part right here tells you which one is going to be steeper. Okay? Which curve is going to be steeper. And the steeper curve is the one that has the smallest standard deviation. So steep and flat. Okay? Dispersed, right? This one is dispersed, flat, spread out. This one is more clustered around the mean, steeper, more consistent, like most families are going to be close, or like more families are going to be closer to the mean in Winnipeg. So what that means that Toronto should be here. That should be 60,000, and this is just a sketch, right? And Winnipeg is over here. Okay, you've got that. And Winnipeg is going to have the steeper curve, so we're going to go a little higher. Toronto is going to be lower. Okay, that's all I care about. And then Winnipeg has the solid, right? So we're going to go like this. Okay, that's Winnipeg, and Toronto is the dashed, so how am I going to give this 2 marks? I'll give you 1 mark if I see that you have Toronto towards the right and Winnipeg towards the left. You get a mark for that. And then you're going to get a mark for making Winnipeg steeper than Toronto. That's basically what I'm looking for. So this is just a sketch, okay? This is just so you know, that's what you would expect. Those are the differences you would see, okay? All right, keep going. Determine the z-score of an income of $20,000 in Toronto. So we do the z-score, and we go $20,000 in Toronto. We go minus the average in Toronto and divide it by 25,000. Okay, that gives you negative 40,000 over 25,000. I need to check my key here real quick. That's negative 1.6 is the z-score for Toronto. What about the actual income? If you have a z-score, you got to use this formula, right? So we go z times 25,000 plus the average, which is 60,000, and you get $116,000. And now a blast from the past, right? Write an equation with a vertex. If you get given the vertex, you want to be using this format of the quadratic, okay? So how would we write this? Y is equal to, I'll leave A for now. I know it's x plus 3.45 squared because you changed the sign, right? Plus 17.19. So K stays the same. This is H, that is K when we're talking vertex. Because you want 2 x-intercepts, we need to make sure A and K have opposite signs. So I'm going to make this negative. I'm going to go negative, and I want it wide, so I'm going to go negative 0.5. So that is one option. These are non-negotiable. Like this has to be correct. So you get 1 mark for the vertex being portrayed correctly. And I'll give you another mark for having a negative and a number that's between 0 and 1 there. Convert 30 kilometers per hour to miles per hour. So that's 30 kilometers per hour. That's 1 hour, right? And then we go miles. So we know that 1 mile has 1.6093 kilometers. Is that correct? Yeah, okay. Hey, I still can memorize things. That's good. I'm not losing it yet. So basically all you need to do is 30 times 1, and then at the bottom you have 1 times that. If you divide it, you get 18.64 miles per hour. 1 mark for that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. 7 marks. And 9. So 9 and 7, that gives us 16 total at the top. 9 and 7, right? So 9 first page,